Thomas Kurian didn't just take over Google Cloud, he inherited a paradox. World-class technology, almost unmatched engineering talent, yet a business that struggled to win enterprise trust at scale. The title here isn't about cloud features or quarterly numbers, it's about strategy. How do you turn raw capability into sustained market expansion? As this slide hints, the answer sits at the intersection of leadership, discipline, and understanding how large organizations actually make decisions. Now, moving into the agenda slide, notice what's not here. We're not chasing product specs or marketing slogans. We're exploring problems, levers, applications, and philosophy. That's deliberate. Cloud dominance isn't won by technology alone. It's won by aligning incentives, reducing fear, and creating confidence. Keep that lens in mind as we go forward, because every lesson that follows builds on that foundation. On the third slide, the cloud market reality comes into focus. Enterprises didn't lack options. AWS and Azure were already there, speaking fluently to CIOs, procurement teams, and regulators. Google Cloud, meanwhile, spoke beautifully to developers, but enterprises don't buy elegance. They buy certainty, reliability, accountability, outcomes. As this slide shows, Google's challenge wasn't innovation, it was translation. Translating technical brilliance into business language. And this is where the first real shift begins. If you want a step-by-step breakdown you can revisit later, there's a PDF linked below that mirrors these ideas in a practical format. And if this kind of strategic thinking resonates with you, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the deeper lessons ahead. Slide 4 introduces Lesson 1, and this is where Kurian made his most important move. Building for enterprises, not just developers. This wasn't cosmetic. He restructured sales teams, invested in consulting, and reframed conversations around business outcomes. Think about Goldman Sachs choosing Google Cloud. That didn't happen because of faster servers. It happened because someone could sit across the table and say, here's how this changes your risk modeling, your compliance posture, and your revenue velocity. As the quote from Good to Great reminds us, greatness is a choice. Kurian chose to slow down product worship and speed up customer understanding. That decision alone reshaped Google Cloud's trajectory. Slide 5 takes us into AI and infrastructure, and this is where Google leaned into its natural advantage. Owning the full AI stack wasn't just an engineering flex, it was a strategic hedge. By investing in custom chips, energy efficiency, and integrated models, Google reduced dependence on external constraints like silicon shortages. For customers, that translated into lower costs and faster deployment. This echoes Kai-Fu Lee's warning and promise. AI reshapes value creation, but only if you control the layers that matter. Kurian understood that renting innovation is risky. Owning it creates leverage. Then we arrive at slide 6, multi-cloud. At first glance, this seems counterintuitive. Why help customers use competitors? But notice the deeper logic here. Enterprises fear lock-in more than complexity. Anthos didn't weaken Google Cloud's position, it strengthened trust. By positioning Google as an enabler rather than a gatekeeper, Kurian removed one of the biggest psychological barriers to adoption. As the innovator's dilemma suggests, disruption often starts by redefining value, not by winning feature wars. Multi-cloud wasn't a technical choice, it was a trust strategy. Slide 7 builds on that trust by narrowing focus. Industry depth, healthcare, finance, telecom, each with its own constraints, regulations, and economics. Kurian resisted the temptation to build generic solutions for everyone. Instead, Google Cloud went deep, where pain was specific and budgets were real. This is classic blue ocean strategy. Stop competing in crowded spaces and create relevance where others hesitate. When cloud solutions speak the language of an industry, adoption stops being a debate and becomes a necessity. Slide 8 expands the lens outward, global expansion. Enterprises don't operate in theory. They operate across borders, regulations, and latency zones. By expanding regions and forming local partnerships, Google Cloud removed friction that had nothing to do with software quality. This is an often missed lesson. Growth accelerates when you make it easier to say yes. Scale followed trust, and trust followed presence. On slide 9, monetization enters the conversation. Kurian didn't push aggressive contracts. He let usage tell the story. Consumption-based pricing aligns incentives beautifully. Customers grow when value is delivered, not promised. Upselling becomes a natural extension of success, not a forced negotiation. This model rewards patience and confidence. It assumes the product will earn its expansion, and when it does, growth compounds quietly but powerfully. Slide 10 brings everything back to the viewer. These takeaways aren't theoretical. Mapping technology to outcomes, investing selectively in AI, offering flexibility, designing for industries, these are moves you can make even at a small scale. The pattern matters more than the size. Strategy is portable. The question is whether you're willing to apply it honestly. Slide 11 invites reflection, and this is where I'd love to hear from you. Where are you still optimizing tools instead of outcomes? Be specific. Is it your product roadmap, your hiring strategy, your pricing model? Drop a comment below with what stood out to you most so far, or where you see this playing out in your own work. Conversations like this sharpen thinking for everyone involved. Finally, we reach the conclusion. Kurian's strategy worked because it respected reality. Enterprises don't buy features, they buy confidence, they buy clarity, they buy leaders who understand their risks as well as their ambitions. Google Cloud didn't win by being louder, it won by being steadier. And that's the real lesson here. Sustainable growth follows disciplined choices, not hype. To make this actionable, grab the PDF in the description, subscribe for more deep dive strategy breakdowns, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's next. The future doesn't belong to the loudest builders. It belongs to the clearest thinkers.